The next thing I want to talk about is this bladder system, okay? So you guys have spent all this money, and here recently, over the last 3, 4, 5 years, the rear shocks and the front struts have become a critical part on these cars. You guys are spending a lot of money on these things, getting them revalved in the latest triple, double throwdown shit that goes in these things. It's expensive to put these shocks on here. Well, when these cars go, when you're riding up and down the road and you're bouncing up and down these highways with all the damn potholes in them, the chassis is moving up and down. So that's just driving this piston up and down in this shock, and it's wearing out this $10,000 set of shocks that you just put on the car. So the only time you want these shocks to be moving up and down is on the racetrack. So traveling up and down the road a couple thousand miles and this shaft bouncing up and down, if you were to stop and crawl into the car and grab the shocks, you'd feel they would be hot because of all the fluid movement in there. And we're putting unnecessary wear on a very expensive part of the car. And these are fine adjustment items here. This is not some 4-link rod end we're talking about. These are real, it's got all kinds of little small parts inside of it, and they're very intricate, okay? So we don't need this beating itself to death going down the road. So when you get to the track, these things need to be in perfect working order and not just like they went through the Baja 1000 and wore the hell out. So the bladder system is designed, I like to use 2 of these. I like one in the rear and one in the front. And what this is this is a big air bladder here. It's got a hose on it, and once we strap the car down, we're going to slide this under the back of the car, and the rear one we're going to put right under the rear cross member here, right by the 4-link bracket, this rear cross member tube. We're going to kind of center that up on there. Now, you have to watch, so if you have a belly pan in the car and it's on the bottom here, you don't want to get that bladder too far forward so that it will push up on the floor. You want it pushing up on the rear cross member. Okay, so we're going to put that back here and make sure the center of it is just behind the rear cross member so that there's no pressure on the floor. And it takes an air hose. It's got this little valve on it, so this is going to stick out the back of the car. So we're going to slide that into the car. This is going to stick out the back. Take your air chuck, turn the valve on. So we're going to fill it through this little Schrader valve here. So we're going to fill this up, and this thing's going to blow up. And you don't need to raise the car up off the floor of the trailer. You just need to raise it up and put a little tension on it. See, it's pretty tight. Put a little tension on that rear cross member so that you got some support there, so that now the car, the main part of the chassis, is floating on this air bladder instead of riding up and down on the shocks. So you'll see the back of the car will start to raise up just a little bit, and then you can stop right there. And once you've aired it up to that point, you want to shut this valve right here. Okay? Now we've kind of locked this in. So you're ready to transport, you get to the track and you're ready to unload the car. We're going to open this valve, and then this is a little bleed off here, so we're just going to pull this out and let the air out of it, and then grab the thing by the hose and slide it out from under the car. It's rubber on the top and the bottom, so it won't move around. It's very durable. Things like got some kind of tire rubber that it's made out of, but it's very, very tough. I like this in the front and the back. We'll put it up under the front cross member and the rear cross member, and we'll put a little tension on the bottom of that chassis. So if you think about it and spend some time and look at what we're talking about here, we're talking about spending a little bit of money to tie down this $500,000 race car you got in your trailer. It's not that much of an investment, but this is nice quality material. It's all USA made. It is very high-end stuff. I mean, you're not going to find this stuff anywhere. These are designed for this job, okay? So we got ratchet straps, axle straps, and a couple of bladders. Very simple items. You get to the track, fold these things up, push them over to the side, lean these up against the wall of your trailer so it's ready to go when you leave. They last forever. You can't wear them out. They're very tough, very durable, but well worth the money. At the very minimum, use one. At the very, very minimum, use one under the rear cross member. 2 is better just because it keeps the front of the car from bouncing up and down too, because you've got a lot more movement in the back when you're going up and down the road, but the front is need to be supported also. So again, if you got any questions, just give us a call.